Hello and welcome to this next video on mobile repairing. In the past few videos, we've been trying to understand how we can find faults with individual components on a mobile PCB and how we can replace those components. In this video, we will try and understand how a vibrator in a mobile phone can be tested and how we can replace the vibrator in a mobile phone. The vibrator is a very integral component in a mobile phone. Vibrator is basically a 3-volt motor which rotates whenever you receive a phone call from somebody and when your mobile phone vibrator is set to the on position. Normally we use the vibrator when we are in a meeting or in a place where we don't want to be disturbed by the ringtone of the mobile phone. The vibrator ensures that your phone vibrates and intimates you about incoming calls or SMS messages. Typically, when you have a problem with the vibrator or if the vibrator in your mobile phone is not working, you will need to first check the settings in the software option. What profile have you placed the mobile phone in will determine whether your vibrator is on or not. If your mobile phone is switched on to the vibrate position and the vibrator option is selected on, then the vibrator should work. Even after setting it in this position and you still are not able to get a vibration, that could signify or indicate a problem with the vibrator. Now, if there is a problem with the vibrator, you will need to open the entire mobile phone, take the PCB out of the mobile phone and check the vibrator component and its functionality. The vibrator is usually checked with the multimeter and when it is placed in a continuity testing position, you place it as the continuity testing position and verify that the probes are working fine. Once we verify that the probes are working fine, we will connect the multimeter probes to the 2 wires that are connected to the vibrator. Now, this is how a vibrator looks. It's a very small motor which works on a 3-volt power supply. It has 2 ends in it and you will need to place the probes of your multimeter on both the ends of the vibrator and test whether the vibrator is working or not. In this case, the vibrator's wire has been disconnected and that could be the reason why this vibrator is not functioning. So, we have picked up another vibrator now to see how it works. We place the probes on 2 ends of the vibrator and you can hear the beep. This means that the vibrator is functioning properly. So, using this continuity testing method, you will be able to find out if a vibrator is working or not and then we place it back in its position. Here we have the old vibrator. Unfortunately, one wire is disconnected. You can resolder it back in once you get the right vibrator. Many a times, different mobile PCBs have different formats in which you can place the vibrator. For example, this vibrator goes into a mobile PCB which has a locking mechanism in it. Unfortunately, this vibrator can't fit into this PCB. So, you need to be careful on what type of vibrator you need to purchase from the market if you think vibrator has a problem. So, ensure that you check the vibrator using continuity testing and once you hear a beep, that guarantees that the vibrator is working properly. If the vibrator is working properly, you go ahead and place that vibrator back into the mobile PCB. For example, let us take the old vibrator. We will check the continuity in this using the 2 ends and unfortunately, we don't hear any beep on this vibrator, which means this vibrator is faulty. So, you need to replace that vibrator with a new vibrator and that will ensure that you are able to solve the problem. And in order to replace the vibrator, you need to place it back at the right point, connecting it to the two tips on the mobile PCB and solder it back in, just the way we learnt how to solder different components in our earlier videos. You may want to look at the ringer placement video to understand how soldering has to be done when you have two wires which need to be connected to two specific tips on the mobile PCB. So, I hope you would have understood how the vibrator is tested and how we can replace a vibrator in its respective position. For doing all of this, please ensure that you have gone through the circuit diagram so you know where you need to place the vibrator appropriately. Keep learning. Thank you very much.